Godwin Okafor. I've said this is Black History Month, and very important celebration, particularly for the Black community and their history and what they've achieved, regardless of the trying times they faced in the past and possibly still continue to face. In as much as so many people would have thought, when you say someone has inspired you, you would go for the big names people often associate with, Nelson Mandela or Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana or Nyerere of Tanzania or Nnamdi Azikiwe of Nigeria. So you've got very big names from Africa or from the Caribbean as well. Or from the United States, but I wouldn't say they've particularly inspired my life choices or where I've become. Not trying to say they haven't done well. They've done absolutely wonderful things. They've helped the Black nation, and their names would be there for eternity. Everyone would get to read about them and know who they really are. We are taught right from primary school, or what you say as grade 1 or year 1 here in the UK. We are taught in social studies, current affairs, the subjects we did, how wonderful they are. These people were how they fought. At that time, some of them were still alive, some weren't, but I wouldn't say possibly all of them are dead now, but they did inspire a lot of people. But for me, it's quite different. Mine is more of a community. Where I've become now stems from the family I had and the community I grew up in. It could be a cultural stuff, maybe. I would say so, for the Black people, the way they tend to see everyone. But I grew up in a setting where it is a child does not belong to one person. A child belongs to the entire community. And for that, it is the responsibility of the community to try to raise that child. Because if that child becomes a problem in the future, that child is not just a problem to the family. Everyone is affected, including those that decide to look away when they would have done the right thing. So I grew up in a setting whereby I looked at neighbors, even those that I didn't know. I watched their lifestyle and the way they behaved. That made me want to become a good person. And also, as kids growing up, you may try to do something that isn't not necessarily evil, but something that isn't good. But you don't just think about, is my father there or my mother there watching me? You'll think of, is that neighbor also there watching me? Right? I wouldn't have been concerned about them if I didn't see them living an upright life. So they lived an upright life. That's why they were not scared of them, but I knew they were there, because if I did something bad, they'll be there to correct me and give me an earful. I wouldn't be worried if someone isn't if I know a man in the community that isn't upright. You wouldn't be worried. They can correct you. If you can correct someone, if you yourself isn't straight, right? So that made me want to be a better person, because I wanted to, for some point, grow up, be like them, and be able to sort of the mantle being passed to me, and I can also do the same for the younger generation. So that more like, so the community, the family, the community, again, I've said it may be a cultural stuff, maybe not as much as it used to because of civilization and modernization. I'm not that very old for sure, but modernization might have changed, but it's still very there. It's still very much there, where people just don't look away. People are there to look after everyone. And I've said that made me, one, it gives you responsibility. That you're not just responsible for your immediate family members, you're responsible for the entire community. You look out for people, even you don't necessarily need to know them. You go up to them and ask them, what is the problem? Okay, older people came to me as a child and asked, what's the privacy? You may be feed not hungry per se, but you might have eaten 3 hours ago. I say, well, I'm tired because I haven't had anything to eat or something for the last 3 hours, and they go to a nearby store and they grab you some biscuits, right? You may not know them from anywhere. So that's where I drew my inspiration from. A sense of community, a sense of belonging, wanting to help people, wanting to be a good person. So when I grew up, I can do the same thing. But before I can do that, I should be good myself. Because if you can't give what you don't have. So again, it doesn't mean to say that the big names we know aren't wonderful. They've made history. They've helped the Black nation. But I've said for me, for who I am today and the way I've tried to live my life, to be a good person, to look after people, to check on people, has to do with the way, the setting I grew up in and how I saw the way people carried on with their lives. Whether I knew them or not, they looked after me, regardless of whether they were family or not. And that's what inspired me. And yeah, I do that. I try to look after people as well myself.